So what have I got going on tonight? Let's see. I was thinking earlier, I don't think I've made a Dalton on video recently or in a long time, so I'll try that. See how it goes. I think I spalled this out. No, I just took off the bulb of percussion on this one. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. Not too bad though. A lot of times I'll set out to make a Clovis, and then if the flutes don't work out, I just turn it into a Dalton. I could try that on this one. But I already announced it. So I'll just go straight for the Dalton. Plenty of thickness so I can start anywhere. I'll start with try to do a few thinning flakes. I can save these for later, for something else, for stuff I never get to, because I don't nap those little bitty things on video anymore. Yeah, I'm just trying to be careful with it at this stage. High quality stuff is always surprising, you know. Sometimes it snaps in half. It always does something you don't want it to do. You take it for granted that it's high quality stuff. But this should be really good because it's right under the cortex. So yeah, it's just a matter of thinning it now. And then once I get it thin, I'll shape it, and then I put the flutes in. The Dalton is a little bit different the way I approach it than the Clovis, because on the Dalton, the basal thinning, I do it toward the end. You know, if I mess up a Clovis, it becomes a Dalton, but usually when the Clovis is messed up, the way I mess them up is with the thinning flakes from the base, right? They don't travel. Sometimes I get a big step fracture. Instead of a flute, I get a short flute and a big step fracture. That's just way too short for a Clovis. So I'll just get, you know, flake away that step fracture and start over. Shape it into a Dalton and then reflute or redo the thinning flakes later. Now I did a, let's see, I did a first stage Dalton earlier, but this also looks like a fishtail point from South America. I left myself plenty of room on the side so I can do serrations, but I went ahead and just left it this way, and I'll offer this for sale in the auction just like this. So it can either be a fishtail or a first stage Dalton. So I got plenty of room to do another one just like it. I don't know if I'll make it a first stage or what. Depends on how it goes. If I have to do a lot of damage control, if I make a mistake and it gets real narrow, It won't be a first stage type, obviously. Okay. Now, if I'm trying to do a reproduction, it takes me a while. You know, I'll look on the internet and I'll find a picture, I'll save the picture or something, and then I'll study it for a while and kind of memorize it, do some flit napping by memory, and then compare the results to the picture. Sometimes I'll modify it after I look at the picture. But if I have a lot of material, I won't modify it, I'll just make another one. I usually do not have any trouble getting rid of the paleo types or early archaic types of points. Yeah, this is a good candidate for Clovis, but yeah, I don't know if I want to do a Clovis tonight. Sometimes when I mess them up, they're just way too gone. Like, it'll dive too much with the thinning flake, it'll dive way too much, and I can't do anything with that spall except break it in half on purpose and make 2 points. I don't feel like dealing with that potential occurrence tonight. Believe it or not, I'm getting low on Georgetown spalls already. Low on spalls already. Plenty of small flakes. Plenty of stuff this size, but this is only like, what, 2 inches? 3 inches or more, that's when it gets rough. Because then you gotta spend some money. Either gas or outright buy the nodules. Sometimes you can buy the bifaces. Some suppliers are bifacing their stuff now. So how's the steel working out for production work? It's doing okay as long as I don't have to do anything really special. Copper is better. And guys, I've been doing this for a long time. They know that, you know, they know the copper is the good stuff. For production work, it's the best for fancy points. I don't do a whole lot of fancy points unless I'm in the mood, right? Sometimes I'll do a lot of serrated points, but that's as fancy as I get. I've been napping all day in the heat. Luckily it hasn't been more than 100 degrees, but it's been pretty hot. There, that's better. Okay, so now I can start doing the base. It's thin enough that I don't have to worry about thinning it later. There's no big issues, so it's easy, relatively easy to thin it more. But I want to leave it a little bit thick just in case something happens and I've got to adjust my strategy. It's good to have a little bit of thickness. You know, if something happens down here and the base, instead of being in the middle of the center line, sometimes it'll get I'll make a mistake and I'll have to adjust it upward or downward like this, and that means I've got to adjust the tip upward or downward to match the base, so I'll have a straight line. So it's good to have a little bit of thickness up here, just FYI. Something I think about sometimes. All right. I can do most of the roughing out with percussion on this kind of stuff, like always. The only time I have to do a lot of pressure work is with the beveled types. If I want to do a beveled type or a lot of sequential flaking. Yes, I do some of it now. I've been doing some of it on the serrated points. I'll do the serrations and the sequential flaking in between the serrations. I think I do that on the Shumla, the Kirks, thinking about another one too. Just some other types with nice sequential flaking on at little dark points. Nothing like first view though. That I'm gonna have to obtain a lot of material like this that's easily flaked, so I don't get napper's cramp doing the sequential flaking. Yeah, it's got a wide base. It seems kind of a shame to lose it all to do a Dalton. Oh well. It'll look just like a fishtail, and then I'm going to put serrations into it. How's that? so I can get 2 different point styles for one video. Yeah, I always had the habit of doing the triangular shape, but I could have done the double pointed shape, kind of like this from the very beginning. I didn't have to do the triangular shape. I think I just did that, you know, just by default. Okay, so let's see, where is everything? Okay. So everything's good on the base. I didn't mess it up or anything during the shaping, so I'll thin this down a little bit in the middle across the face here because it's kind of bulgy. I kind of like the lighter Cortex material. Hopefully it's not too steppy. I skinned off most of it, but I like to have that contrast. Hopefully most of it will survive and it won't be skinned off too badly. I know I'm going to lose some of it. When I do a Cody style point, it's similar to this too, the way I do the preform. That doesn't feel right. These things should be traveling. That one traveled okay, that right there, but I don't know what happened there. Cortex makes things irregular. Yeah. Also, stone gets embedded in the tip, and it starts to fail to make good contact with the platform. You get stone chips or dimples in the tip of the tool. Yeah, okay. That's probably what it was. Just a bunch of stone chips and stuff in the tip of the tool. These flakes are traveling well, or supposed to be. Yep, there it goes again. So, anything new? Any new developments? Well, I wish. Did I do any research on flint knapping lately? Not really. I'm trying to think, what have I been looking? Where have I been looking on the internet for more inspiration? Not really much going on there. Nope, nope. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Let's see. Oh yeah, I found my notes. Let's see if I still, yep, I have my notes. I'm gonna do a bokoshi point. It's similar to a salisaw, except it has an extra set of notches up above. Let's see, so yeah, I found my notes. I'll do all these. I got some Onondaga chert back in Vermont. I don't have it with me. That's on the list. And I got another list for all my rock challenges. That one's an even longer list than that. It's a big old list. I got boxes that people have sent me to do the rock challenges. But that's it. Once I finish those, that's it. Alright, I gotta pay attention because it's very easy to lose track of what I'm doing. Okay. So yeah, I'm just eyeballing the dimensions on this. I think Dalton's stem width averages about 1 inch or so. So I'm already used to that dimension with everything else, especially the hunting points type stuff. Now, have I seen preforms for Dalton? Not that I recall, which is kind of funny because you see a lot of Clovis preforms. I don't really see Dalton preforms, so I don't remember anyway. They got to be out there somewhere. It'd be nice to have a bunch of different preforms to look at to see if they actually made them all starting out wide like this, or they started them with different dimensions. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. So what I'll do is I'll thin the thickest one first, and then I'll do the thin side. Where, you know, this is the bulgy side, so I'll thin this first with some flakes, and then I'll flip it over and just shoot a thinning flake on that side. So this is the important one. Sometimes I'll go back and forth, but this is not that thick, so shouldn't require much effort. Shouldn't have to go back and forth on this one. On tougher materials, it's usually pretty thick at this stage, and I'll try to thin it during the last stage because I've got to hit this really hard on difficult material, and it'll snap it in half, right? So I leave it pretty thick on difficult material. So, you know, I'll flute, flip, flute, flip, flute, you know, as many times as it takes to get it thinned down. I won't aggressively attack it. With this stuff, I can pretty much run long flakes without worrying too much. And they don't need to be very long on a Dalton. And what's cool is I can do flutes over the top of other flutes. It works pretty well. So I'm not going to shoot a long flake this time. I'm just going to contour it. I don't know if I said that. I'll contour it a little bit. Make sure I got a very smooth flake path. You know, I'll take thinning flakes from each side and then I'll do one right up the middle. But I got to make sure there's not a big mass anywhere that could stop the thinning flake. So I'm going to shoot a flake here. Yeah, so see, I've got that kind of a ridge in the middle. I'm going to shoot a flake from the edge in. Still a little thick right here on this side. I don't want anything to stop the thinning flake. Yeah, there's an issue right there. That's not good. Yeah, there's a crack right through there. I can probably pressure flake that out. Yeah. Hopefully. Okay, so that's that side, right? Same procedure with a pedernales, except, you know, it has barbs. The same procedure with a pedernales. I'll do the thick side first, and then go over to the other side. Funny how that works, right? Seems like one technology just developed into the other, but they retain some of the same features. Some of the same hafting strategies and all that. I think fishtails, they don't have a deep concavity in the middle on the South American fishtail points. So you skip that part. But on Dalton, some of them had deep concavities, so I'm not too worried about going deep. I'm not going to isolate the center on this one, because this is going to be a short, wide flake, hopefully. I don't need to thin the base at all now. I just need to put in one of those thinning, the wide, shallow thinning flake. That's it. Okay. Gotta be careful. I don't know if that's gonna, that crack there is an issue. Also, I could crack this stem. It is pretty thin. There it goes. So I'll just pressure flake the sides on that to, you know, to expand this area. and then finish out the rest of it. Let's see. Yeah, kind of steppy, but it's okay. All right, next segment. All right, so yeah, I'll finish out. I'm gonna finish pressure flaking the stem, and then I'll work on the blade. So yeah, this is the boring part. Here's a frisky dog. What you doing, doggo? Kick the ball somewhere. Don't drop it in front of the camera. My sister's dog. Crazy nutball. What is it? What are you looking for? I don't know who let him out. He's not supposed to be out at this hour. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a lot of pressure flaking. From this point onward, a lot of this, as far as I can tell on the Daltons, there's a lot of pressure flaking involved. Sometimes there's fancy flaking and sometimes there isn't. Yeah, that crack right there, I gotta try to get that out right now. Took back this side a little bit too much for my taste, but I gotta get to that crack to see if I can get rid of it. Okay. Yikes. I'm just gonna have to leave it in. Right? How much more I can do? It goes in a little ways. It's not too bad. Now the symmetry. It kind of messed up the symmetry a little bit. So yeah, I think the steel tip cracked the corner there. Hopefully I won't crack this one, because I'm going to do the same thing that I did on that side. I'm going to send in a flake to thin that down. Yeah, so I got to take back this side a lot, because that going after that crack messed up the symmetry. So let's see. Yeah. Yeah, so the average Dalton is pretty small, actually. The average size for a Dalton, at least from the site that I was researching. So I'm not too worried about losing, the sides there. Or that one side. Dalton in slow motion. I think I said I was going to put serrations in this one, so I gotta leave myself some room. So I don't want to take down the sides too much, but I do need to thin down the edges. Okay, so I'm still not that symmetrical. It's going to have to be good enough. Oh, I think I hear thunder in the distance. Hopefully I don't get rained on. So, yeah, slowly but surely. Okay. Just a few pop-out flakes on the other side. Just so I can show a little bit of flaking there. Get these ears thinner. Not too thin. Yeah, the more carefully I do this flaking now, the easier it is to grind it down. Just little pecking flakes to dull it before I grind it makes it a lot easier. So now I got flaking up all these sides. Well, maybe need some on this side. Just for looks, because it's not really necessary to half the point. Doesn't need to be nicely, perfectly flaked everywhere. Okay, so that's the stem. Now the blade's going to take me a while since I'm going to do serrations, so let's see. I'm going to regularize the edge and see where I'm at. No yip yap on this video. I'll give you warning when there's yip yap. I'll just say in the title that it's going to be flint yapping instead of flint napping. I might go back and change all the other titles to flint yapping so you know which ones I've got. Is silliness and philosophical or political type content, right? Right. Good, good. Oh yeah, the rain's coming in. It's not raining yet, but I can hear the thunder. Actually, I think it is starting to rain. I'm gonna pause the video so I can remove the pillows off of the lawn furniture. And I'll be right back. Okay, if it starts pouring out, I'm gonna have to postpone the video till tomorrow, right? Just upload the first 2 parts or whatever. Anyway, we'll just continue till we can't hear anything, because if it starts pouring out, that's all you can hear is just the water. Well, you might still be able to hear my voice, I guess. We'll see. See what happens. Okay, so I'm just kind of going by memory on how these stems transition into the blade. I'm pretty sure just a gradual transition. I'm going to thin out the whole blade like it was original, like it's going to be a pristine first stage. right? And then I'll put the serrations in. Yeah, the wind is changing, so I'm gonna have to just upload these parts first, and I'm gonna put away all my stuff because the wind's starting to blow into the area. So I'll finish this out tomorrow. Okay.